Hello everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to Worst to Best. This is one of those seasonal spin-off episodes where I review the new Season 4 weapons, which a lot of people are hating on, more so the C58 than the MG82. And if you're among that group, maybe you'll change your mind after watching this video. I don't think these weapons are necessarily trash. They're not the best new meta guns, but they're definitely not the worst. Enough of that tangent. What we're going to be doing in this video is casually going over the stats, the strengths, and the weaknesses of the gun, and then I'll give them each a little review, and then I'll plug each of them into their respective worst to best list from the assault rifle and LMG episodes. I'll also include some class setups that you can try out. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe. Why are you not subscribed? A majority of my views come from people who are not subscribed. I don't understand what's happening here. It's kind of embarrassing. Just subscribe. Let's start with the MG82 because it is a much simpler weapon compared to the C58. So the MG82 is a new archetype of LMG. It fires extremely fast at a rate of 909 rounds per minute with some pretty intense base recoil, but it's not too over the top. It is pretty easy to control this weapon. When it comes to damage, the MG82 is now the king of shortest range fall off at 19 meters, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but its time to kill profiles are pretty straightforward. It'll kill in 5 shots under 19 meters and 6 shots beyond 19 meters. You can decrease the time to kill if you land 3 headshots at either range, meaning it is possible to 4-shot kill with this weapon. The 4-shot kill, however, is the slowest minimum shot time to kill amongst the LMGs right now. The 5-shot kill is the second slowest, just a bit in front of the RPD, and the 6-shot kill is actually tied with the Stoner for the fastest killing light machine gun at range. But keep in mind, the MG82's range is short, and there's about a 5 to 15 meter gap where the MG82 can fall up to 100 milliseconds behind all the other LMGs because they have longer range fall-offs. And unfortunately, the damage barrels don't really help this weapon out at all much. It doesn't decrease the time to kill whatsoever. What the damage barrels do is reduce the headshots needed at both ranges by 1. Again, it's not that helpful, but it is a nice bonus on the task force barrel along with the boost in range and bullet velocity, which the MG82 needs. The MG82 has the slowest bullet velocity in the light machine gun class. It is 603 meters per second. The RPD is 684 meters per second, just so you have a comparison though. It's still a respectful base bullet velocity, but the MG82 will be harder to use at range compared to other LMGs because of this. The good things about this weapon though is it does have standard mobility for all the LMGs with a noticeably faster aim down sight speed and a large ammo pool of 100 rounds. But it also has an 8-second reload, which is the slowest reload amongst all the LMGs now. You definitely will want a fast mag with this thing. Overall, these stats say to me that this weapon is geared towards close to mid-range combat. But close to mid-range is where the MG82 performs the worst. So if we look at our original worst to best list, which hasn't changed, we have the Stoner at 63 at the top, followed by the M60 and the RPD at worst. The MG82 belongs at the bottom of this list as the new worst LMG in Cold War multiplayer. As I just said, it underperforms in its statistically strong areas. It exceeds it long range time to kill, but the Stoner is on the same level, so it's really nothing special. Not to say that the MG82 is a bad weapon. LMGs are very strong in this game. The MG82 is still going to kill faster than some assault rifles and SMGs. But if we focus on just the LMG class, the MG82 really doesn't offer anything that makes me want to use it over the other options that we currently have. Moving on to the C58. I have a lot to say with this, but it's all worth it, so bear with me here. The C58 is a slow-firing assault rifle that shares a lot of stats with the AK-47, including damage values, essentially making it a slower AK-47, which isn't a bad thing because the AK is one of the best assault rifles in the game right now. The C58 joins the FAR 83 for the title of fastest bullet velocity at 730 meters per second, Aim down sight speed is standard, movement and mobility is standard. It has a slightly slower shooting move speed, just like the AK-47. Its first true downside is its sprint to fire, which is actually 400 milliseconds as the in-game stats state. This makes it the slowest sprint to fire assault rifle in the game. I think the AK is like 283 milliseconds, for example, but it's only 50 milliseconds slower than the FAR 83, which I've been using a lot lately, so maybe I'm just used to the playstyle, but this isn't something that you should instantly write the weapon off for. Just keep in mind, this isn't a rifle that you should be all gung-ho and rushing around like a chick with your head cut off with. The default magazine is 20 with a standard reserve pool. It can be up to 30 or up to 60 rounds with the drum magazine, which I don't recommend. I'll explain why when we get to the damage. 20 rounds is a bit small considering it takes the same shots to kill as the AK-47, which has 30 rounds in the mag. But at the same time, the C58 does fire slow, so you're not going to burn through an entire mag quickly like the FFAR does, for example. Plus, it has one of the faster reload speeds for assault rifles at 2.4 seconds. Believe it or not, the C58 is actually one of the more accurate assault rifles in this game. The first shot or two will kick fairly hard, but after that, the recoil is fairly accurate. And lastly, this weapon has the shortest range fall off at 25.5 meters. This is about 35 to 50% less than the other assault rifles. Even some SMGs have a longer range than the C58, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if you kit accordingly. So if I take a look back and look at all these stats, they're telling me that this assault rifle is for slower paced play styles and it excels in close to medium range engagements and is not as great in long range engagements, especially with that intense first kick and its recoil. So let's see if the damage stats support that. It will be a consistent 4-shot kill under 25 meters, and this time to kill is competitive. The AK, the Groza, and the Farah are the only weapons that kill faster than the C58 at this range. Beyond 25 meters, it will be a 5-shot kill unless you can land 2 headshots. The 5-shot time to kill isn't necessarily the best. It loses to all the assault rifles except the Krig and the QBZ, but this just reinforces my claim that this is a close to mid-range assault rifle and it's not that great at range. You guys have seen the gameplay in this video. The C58 is very usable. What makes it not usable is the 60-round drum mag attachment. You should never use this attachment. Not only does it slow down your reload and your aim down sight speed, it reduces your damage to where it is a 5-shot kill at any range, which we just revealed is not a good time to kill, unless you can land 2 headshots before the range fall off. This weapon feels like a hit marker machine when you use the drum mag, and I feel like this is a popular mistake that will turn a lot of people off of the C58 because it has a low default mag. You're like, oh, 60 round mags, I'm just going to use that. But 60 rounds is overkill for this weapon. I've never used that much ammo before having to take time to reload. You can combo the 60 round mag with the task force barrel to equalize the base damage, but don't even do this. This 60 round drum mag is not worth it at all. You really don't need that much ammo in multiplayer. Speaking of task force barrel, this is the last and most important attachment to discuss. The task force barrel, in my opinion, is the secret sauce that makes this weapon great. You get a bullet velocity boost and a boost to your range, which catches it up with the other assault rifles, but most importantly, it allows for a 3-shot headshot kill within 38 meters. That's a 216 millisecond time to kill, which is only beat out by the AK-47. 216 milliseconds is actually faster than nearly all the SMGs in this game as well. Outside of the 3-shot headshot, you will be getting 4 shots and 5 shots depending on your range, just like the base damage. In a lot of cases, the task force barrel isn't great to use on a weapon because it adds a lot of recoil. It's just not worth dealing with for all those extra points of damage, but the C58 is a special exception. The recoil is more intense, but it's very controllable. The spray pattern is a straight line up and to the right. There's not much side-to-side variance or any adjustment needed, so all you have to adjust for is that initial kick, which is pretty large, but after that, controlling the task force barrel is surprisingly easy, and it is the configuration that I recommend using for the C58 because it goes all in on the close to mid-range beast that this weapon is. So with that said, where does the C58 rank on the worst to best list? The previous list had the AK-47 at top, followed by the FAR-83, Groza, XM4, QBZ-83, Krig in the FFAR-1 at the bottom. This was last updated in Season 2. My new list is going to be the AK-47, the FAR-83, and the Groza still at the top 3. And I feel confident slotting in the C58 at the new number 4 spot. The remainder of the list has the FFAR at number 5, followed by the Krig 6, XM4, and QBZ-83. That has changed a little bit because there has been some rebalancing since I last updated that list. But yeah, I think the C58 is a solid mid-tier assault rifle for all the reasons we've gone over. It's not the best rifle in the game, but it certainly isn't the worst in complete garbage like some people have been saying. It's a high-skill weapon with great potential in close to mid-range where its recoil is manageable. The only real inconvenience is the low magazine size. If you're struggling to see what I see in this weapon and disagree still, try out one of these classes and maybe your mind will change. This is my gunfighter tryhard class I use in this video with the DM Ultra camo on. If you wanted to cut this down to 5 attachments, I'd recommend removing the optic, the body attachment, and the underbarrel. Those are really just bonuses to make this easier to use. This is exactly what I did for my drum mag class, which is the diamond camo gameplay you saw in this video. I believe in the gameplay, I opted for the 30-round fast mag, which is what I'd actually recommend using over the 60-round mag. 60-round mag is trash. Horizontal recoil isn't much of an issue. It's all the vertical recoil. So I think the agency suppressor or the infantry compensator are staple attachments for the C58, along with the Raider stock and jungle grip, which when combined balance out the sprint to fire and aim down sight speed perfectly. Lastly, we have my Task Force Barrel class. The only way to rock the Task Force Barrel is to use Gunfighter and fully commit to that up-close headshot playstyle. You want to be as accurate as possible. You want to get an optic on there to be precise for your headshots. And I like using the SAS mag clamp for this loadout. It doesn't penalize aim down sight speed as much, and 20 rounds is enough to work with because we're trying to be accurate and trying to kill in 3 to 4 shots. The mag clamp also will give you the fastest reload possible, so there isn't much downtime when you do have to reload with this loadout. What do you guys think for either the MG82 or the C58 assault rifle? If you disagree, as always, you're encouraged to leave your own worst to best list down below in the comments. It's always fun to go down there and compare and contrast and thumbs up the comments from viewers. Don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing if you'd like to help support the channel directly. There are some links down below in the description that you can check out. Peace.